Hey everybody, and welcome to the Fandom Zone. Coming in hot without walking away because I wanted to start on time. And I'll be damned if I didn't start at 1:31 exactly. So our first panels that'll be here, because as usual, PB is running late, is going to be Bear Nerd Fun. Welcome, Bear. How are you doing?
Hey, you got it right. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, so, we got a lot of fun things to talk about tonight. We're doing a little bit of a later stream, so I don't know what the turnout's going to be like or when this thing is going to pop up. But so far, we got our awesome, normal people who come in here. Mr. Tommy, who I just got to say has been doing a fabulous job modding, and I'm so glad I put him as a mod. And of course, the person who loves to hate me, the Senate. Love to see you, buddy. Great to see you, man.
Yeah,
and apparently he says drinking right now because I don't fucking know. So Bear, before we get started, while I wait for people to come in, the normal people to pop on by and see that I'm live, how are things going? How is the fourth wave?
Oh, pretty good. We had a live show earlier. That's decent, really good. We started at 3 Pacific Standard Time early because Steven was going to be on the Neurotic channel, and Working Podcast News was invited on, and it was a great time hanging out. Man, those trolls were really going after Jeremy because Jeremy was on there too. Gotta say, they are, if they want to spend money just so they can call Jeremy names, my God, it was hilarious.
That's what I find amazing is that they think that it's like a joking thing when we say making money off of the trolls.
Right.
That's like not a catchy phrase or something like that. I mean, really, these guys don't understand that, when you're throwing money just to insult someone, you're just, one, you're giving us the view. And two, you're giving us your money to insult us. I mean, most sensible people, that makes no particular sense whatsoever.
Yeah, you know the saying, man. Haters gonna hate, I guess. and I just want a good story. That's what I want.
Yeah. People have been labeling Star Wars fans, and I call us fans because we have endured the most crap. They've been labeling us man babies and things like that. But you know what? I'd rather be called a man baby for bitching about things that I love. Like mine, for me, as I've said before, started with Harry Potter because I love Harry Potter and I hate what they've tried to turn it into. And then I just happened to notice other things that really agitated me. And so, we do it for the love. We're not doing it because we want to bring down the establishment or destroy or ruin a franchise. It's actually quite the opposite. We're trying to save franchises. We're trying to preserve legacies for the next generation, for the next people who are going to view it.
Yeah, so, preserving legacies when there's motion picture companies unfairly tearing things down.
Exactly.
And then calling us names for not liking what they did. Hi, miss, how you doing?
I was sent a mystery link by this man. It is 1:35 a.m. I have work at 9 a.m. I do not have time to be angry on your channel.
Oh, there's always time to be angry on my channel. Look, Trey Courtney joined us. Don't worry. Trey, we're gonna get into Dark Fate. I might actually tackle that first while I
I
have.
haven't seen it. I don't want to talk about it. It's a garbage, horrible thing that I've heard of, and I don't want to. No, you can't make me. I'm here to yell at you for sending me a link, but I wasn't even in your damn chat. Okay, I've been in your chat. I've done it where I've been in your chat for your streams for a little bit, and you send me nothing. I wasn't even there, and you sent me a link. You know,
Yeah.
I saw you in your costume. I saw all the pictures and everything that bitchy unicorn tagged me in because it was funny and I love her. But this is crossing the line.
Speaking of which, did you guys see my drunken adventures as Joker? Apparently, if there's a sequel, Todd Phillips, I'm available. you guys don't need Joaquin, apparently. I like literally got stopped at the bar and people were like asking me, hey, can you take a picture with me? And I'm like, yeah, just so you know, I'm not Phoenix. So, you know, don't try to eBay it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I think I got gypped out of the Halloween costume contest because it was supposed to be by people who are cheering you. And so when I came up, I did the Joker dance and everything, and I had a cigarette in my mouth, and like people were going crazy. And these people, they picked the bartender for like second place, and then some nobody for like first. And I was like, what the fuck? And their costume was like a beer can. And meanwhile, I took an hour and a half to put that makeup on. Bitch, you did my makeup. And yeah, you know, I was mad. Fuck you.
That's gonna chap your hide, man.
They
won because they were a beer can.
I know. A beer can in Wisconsin wins. Go figure.
Anyway,
what kind of beer can was it?
I'm not staying. For the brief amount of time. Why is PB not in here?
Who knows? He's in the chat going, real dirt, yeah. Fuck. I don't know what that means, PB. You're going to have to come in and rant.
Yeah, he's going to have to do that because his rants are on the top 10 list of people who rant.
Oh, they're phenomenal.
Yes, they are. Okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to sleep. You're going to leave me alone. I popped in. You got what you wanted.
Hey, miss, have a great morning.
I will not have a great morning.
I'm being optimistic.
Thank you, Tommy, for plugging my channel. You didn't need to do that.
And go ahead and
I don't want people to follow me be yelling at Zod.
And go follow her on Twitter and see more funny, sarcastic things. Thank you, Miss. So glad you popped in.
Night, morning, whatever. Bye.
Night, morning.
So yeah. So I guess the first topic that I'm going to tackle, because PB isn't in here to do Star Wars, so I'm going to save it for last, because that way, if PB has to come in late, he can go off and rant about Star Wars, and we can kind of end things there. But Bear, let's talk Terminator. Dark Fate.
Oh man.
I mean, first off, let's start off with you, and because I've seen it, so it's unfair for me to start this rant. I'm sure you've heard the reviews and the projections and things.
Yeah, I've heard all kinds of stuff about it. I really don't care about spoilers.
So
yeah.
Just hearing everything. So the rumor is it has $128 million price tag. Okay, which for me, first off, is ridiculous. I did not realize they spent that much money on this movie. And according to the word around the water cooler, there has been a little interest in it. And I know from working at the theater, at least I can only speak on mine. The movie is doing quite horrible. So I mean, tell us what your initial thoughts are and just what you're thinking off of some of the things you're hearing before I get into the articles and things about this dumpster fire.
Well, I've already made a couple videos and talked about some of the articles that came out. And the articles, I mean, Google alerts me to articles on the things that I like and things that I like to read. And every now and then, just some stuff just pops up. And there was several articles, and I think the very first one was negative. The second one was negative, and there really wasn't very much positive about any of the articles. And you know, there's really kick-ass moments in this movie, but they throw the wokeness into it, and it bursts anything they built in that story when they do that. And so there's some things in this movie that's probably likable, but the things that aren't are going to pull you right out of it. And that's not a good movie.
No. I'll tell you something. Everyone in the chat who might want to see this dumpster fire, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I will be putting out a video on my feelings and what I feel about particularly the opening scene of the movie. So I think Jeremy Johns puts it best in his spoiler review, which I was watching. Love you, Jeremy. If you're watching the channel, hit me up, please. Come on, Phantom Zone. Anyways, that's my shill for Jeremy Johns. The scene in the beginning does two things. It gets you excited and then immediately kills your excitement. And it's astonishing to me, the creative choices, because keep in mind, this is the person who created Deadpool, and you would think someone who was influential in showing that R-rated superhero movie can be marketable. You know, we had that great run with Logan, Deadpool, you know, those R-rated movies that are being like, hey, and then Joker just put it over the top. Like, yeah, we could do gritty movies, right? And let's give Tim Pool credit where credit is due. He took a low budget and he made something special out of that, right? And now you speed up to where you would think he's got James Cameron, who I clearly believed phoned in his involvement and like literally picked up a phone and phoned in suggestions. I think that's the extent of the work on this movie. And I think he left it in his hands.
I think I heard somewhere that James Cameron on opening day for Terminator was doing something for Avatar.
Yeah. He's not caring about this franchise. He's like, yeah, I did Terminator. Like you know, I'm done. I'll come back a little bit, you know, and Senate, I'm not going to read out some of your comments because you included spoilers, you rebel you, but I do agree with your last one. What happened did kill the excitement by doing what they did with a fan favorite character. I completely agree with you, Senate. And I agree with Trey Courtney. A lot of choices they made, they were making this claim that it's going to scrap the original, the new Terminator timeline. And I'm like, cool, good. Let's go back to the basics. It sounds like from the onset, when you see it on paper, it sounds like this is going to be something that's going to right the ship, right? You know, they're doing a course correct. Like for a bit, it sounded like they wanted to use the nostalgia to build something and then to expand upon this, right? You know, take the old and then, hey, we're going to go in a new direction here, but we're going to use the legacy characters to right the ship like we should have. But instead, you know, it didn't. What's up, Second Street Marvel?
Hey, what's going on?
Good to see you, buddy. They did something that just staggers my mind in the opening. So, Bear, picture you go to see a movie and they give you the nostalgic moment you're looking for, and you hear the music hit and you see the original characters and you're like, fuck yeah, this is what I paid. Finally, Hollywood's listening to me. This was worth my ticket, bam. And not but 5 fucking minutes later, they kill all your hopes and dreams. Now, do you think before the movie even starts, they make a poor choice and piss you off in the beginning? Doesn't that set the mood for the rest of the movie? It doesn't matter what proceeds after that. They've already shot down your self-esteem before the credits even roll.
Yeah, they done they done set your mindset going forward.
Yeah, because they give you an amazing thing and then they yank the rug from underneath you and they say, oh yeah, that thing you were excited about? Nah, we're not doing that. Nah, we're throwing that out the window. And, you know, I heard a comparison with Breaking Bad. Aaron Paul returns as Jesse in the new Breaking Bad movie. And what they did was they made a self-contained story about him. And they didn't do something disrespectful where Aaron Paul walks in the first 5 minutes and then, they kill him off. And then you're like, okay, why am I watching a Breaking Bad movie? Right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, it is just mind baffling to me how they chose to do what they did in the beginning. And then that set the tempo for the rest of the review. And I mean, I saw it a second time because I now know what was coming. And I'm like, okay, maybe this will change my viewing. And it's still a mess because if you take the context of that first 5 minutes, it destroys literally everything in the Terminator mythology from that point forward, because then nothing makes sense. In one move, they killed the whole entire story.
Where's it at? Tri Courtney makes a very good point. Terminators have a conscience now, and F that bullcrap. Well, basically, let me point something out to you. What did the Terminator say at the end of T2 to John?
He said that he had to go because he wanted to. He didn't want them to get the check, right?
Before that, I'm a machine. I can't feel that. I can't feel the way you feel.
Oh yeah, when he was crying, he goes, "I wish I could, but he's not programmed to."
Yep.
So he can only share that experience through him. Yep.
He can only witness it and wish he could. Or if a machine can wish. Yeah,
and then they do this thing in the movie where you're looking, and don't get me wrong, Arnold's part for what he was getting. Here's the thing that sucks about this movie the most is that if the actors had a better story, this could have been not maybe the best Terminator, but it could have given you hope, because I'm not going to lie, every actor played their role with what they were given very well. You don't have like C actors in here. They know their roles, they know the characters, and they play them accordingly. That's not the problem. The problem is the story doesn't allow for the acting to match up with it. So, I mean, you could throw a A-list actor in a film, but if you have a shit story, then they can only do so much with the role. And that's what I felt like. Even the new girl, who I had no clue who she was, who plays the new Terminator, I mean, she was good for what she was supposed to be. Even the new Terminator guy, he was very intriguing. Like, not the model, but like his backstory and his motivations, they kept it very mysterious, and it made you want to know more about him. The shame part is you don't want to know more because the story doesn't make any freaking sense. And I mean, and that's taking out the wokeness. We're not even talking about some of the politics that are in this film. And I could even overlook the politics if he doesn't do this half-ass thing where they dip their feet into it like they want to say something and then they pull back, You either go one way or the other, or you stay in the movie and you have a good balance. Like Joker, look at Joker. Joker had politics in there. There was a lot of statements about mental health, about elitism, about the media, things like that. But you had a great story to back up what they were talking about. And, the story took precedence over the messaging that was in there. The messaging and the story, they work together.
Hey, what's up, Hammer?
Hey, Hammer. Great to see you in here, buddy. So you had like a perfect marriage in Joker. Now you take Terminator, and it's so messy so that when this big glaring political statement comes out, it's in your face, like hard in your face. And it's not even what you would think with female empowerment or whatever. There's very little of that for how much they played that up in the marketing. It's just more of a huge political statement that's about halfway in this film. There's a huge glaring political statement that they put in here. And, it's just like, no one wants to see that. How does this pertain to the story? And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of shit just thrown in there, just to be thrown in there. What's up, GP? Good to have you in here, buddy. So, Bear, you were talking about reviews, right? And you were talking about how many disappointed reviews. Now, let me show you on Twitter what I believe the company posted in a way to try to mitigate some of this fallout that's going on. So here on Twitter, we have fans share their reaction to Dark Fate, okay? Now, the first post is from the Terminator Dark Fate Twitter, right? They're hyping it up. There you go. They're doing their little clips there, right? Now, here's India Today, right? Terminator is back. They're talking good about it, right? I clicked on the thing. They're saying about how this one could be the best Terminator yet, blah, blah, blah. Mark Noseworthy says, T2 is one of my favorite movies of all time, top 5 for sure. Just came out of Terminator Dark Fate. I am completely satisfied. Totally enjoyed it. It won't be remembered as a classic, but it's a fun action movie that coherently builds on some of the themes of T2. Mark, you are a total shill. Turn in your man card. Richard Course says, movie reviews, Terminator Dark Fate is the best in the franchise since T2. You fucking liar. How do you post this in good conscience, knowing you are so full of shit, Richard, and your abbreviation is dick? It fits you. You asshole. Jeff Martin says, Terminator Dark Fate film review. Linda Hamilton is back, and so is the franchise's mojo. After a slew of disappointing sequels and a TV series, which was far better than the movies, the Killer Robot saga once again feels sharp and relevant. Of course, because there's a big border play midway in the film. So, of course, you're going to say that. Rudy, whoever the fuck says, greatly enjoyed Terminator Dark Fate. From the action, it moves like a Terminator flick to the themes, plus adding Mackenzie Davis to my fitness. Want to be her goals. Rudy, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say, Rudy. And I mean, look at all these, because when they have the check mark, these are sites. So these are people who are reviewers, right? So this is a YouTube guy saying Terminator Dark Fate. Tim Miller gets the franchise back on track. New blood and familiar faces.
Well, I said earlier they're going to be out in force shilling for this movie.
Yeah. These guys are coming out and saying that this is the greatest thing. Like, how as a reviewer, I watched Stevie J's, and if you guys don't know it, Tommy, you can leak Stevie J's channel. Stevie J made such a passionate video about Terminator 2 and the effects it had on him personally and stuff. Like, I had to dust off my old copy and rewatch it. He inspired me to go back through and rewatch that film again with like whole new eyes. And I'm like, Stevie, you're so right. This is a work of art. Now, how can you say this movie even shines the shoes of Terminator 2? You're telling me that this movie here, this movie is comparable to T2? This movie isn't even comparable to Genesis, and Genesis was a shit show. You know,
there was some interesting ideas in Genesis.
Yes.
But honestly, after this movie, I think Genesis is going to be looked at just a little bit better. But you see, this movie, they could have made this movie a great movie. And I know people that have seen it, and they said, there's some really good moments in this movie, but those woke moments after that, it bursts that bubble. You know, that story bubble I like to be in when I go see a movie. Doesn't matter what genre of movie it is. I don't want that burst. I don't want to think about the real world. And they do that. They break that.
And don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with adding real world stuff to a film if it is part of the story. But if you're going to add real world stuff, you better make sure it's relevant to the story you're telling. And once again, I'm going to go to Joker. Everyone who doesn't know, if you've seen the Twitter, all right, you know what I dressed up as. You know what my favorite movie of 2019 is going to be. And I might do on my channel like what I predict to be the top movies of 2019 and then my Oscar predictions, just because I'm so excited with Joker. But Joker did the politics too, and it did it well, because the politics never overshadow the main story that's being told. It's like little nuggets you could take and interject it with the character, like this happened, so this caused this event in his life, right? But it was so grounded. You're not talking about robots from the future. You're talking about a normal guy who's descent into madness, whereas Terminator's a fictional thing. And yes, you could put real world politics in this because it's essentially set in our time, right? You could do that, but the way that it's executed is just as important as throwing it in there, and what relevance it plays to the story is the most important part, right? Like the whole scene that focuses on Mexico, I've sat back and listened to these reviewers praising, like, oh my God, it's such a gutsy take, and they're showing what's going on down there, and the cages, and blah. And you know, it's like, what the fuck does that have to do with Terminator? Okay, I got why the scene's in there. I got that it's supposed to be a roadblock and nothing else, but the politics behind it don't add any relevance to the story. So why is the scene in here? You put in a useless scene to pad out your 2-hour runtime. There's no reason for it. It's just to say, oh yeah, we're touching on something that's, you know, that's in the news that needs to be focused on, you know? And
yeah, it's stuff like this. I don't like that stuff when they do that. It needs to be relevant to the world they're building in the story. If it's not, I don't like that.
Yeah, and Trey, you know, the difference between Rambo and this was that Rambo had actual factual shit in there showing what the ugly side, and showing that Rambo had to go in there and fuck some shit up. I like that because it took a different take on it and showed the ugly shit that people don't want to talk about. But this I could get behind them showing a different perspective, but if it plays into the story. And this scene served as nothing but to piss me off and to take you out of the movie. Anything that takes you out of the movie should not be in the movie, because you are purposely splitting your audience's attention. I mean, honestly, the first 5 minutes of the film shouldn't be in the fucking movie, or at the very least should be in the ending, so that if you're gonna piss people off, at least you piss them off after you told your whole story instead of the first 5 fucking minutes of the film. First 5 minutes, I was just like contemplating, like just throwing something. I was so pissed off, you know? And it's just amazing. And this next article really, it serves them right, because this tells the story, the real story that the media doesn't want to talk about, that they don't want to talk about. So Terminator Dark Fate, the box office weekend numbers are in, and it says box office Terminator Dark Fate stumbling to 28 million opening. $28 million opening. That is so terrible.
Yeah,
really,
so
for any film.
What did you say that the budget was supposed to be?
128 million.
Well,
and that's just to make the movie. We're not talking about marketing.
I'm looking at the estimated budget on IMDb, and it's great. It looks like it's 185 million estimated.
I'm guessing they're probably including the marketing and opening and other theaters. The original budget was 128 with the reshoots and everything. So if that's higher, because I was watching Odin and he said
it looks like a cumulative worldwide gross of a little over 12.5 million.
Yep. So Paramount, and they put that in here too. Paramount's Terminator Dark Fate is stumbling toward a 28 million opening weekend at 4,086 North American locations, significantly below forecast. Early estimates showed on Friday. Pre-release forecast of the sixth installment of the sci-fi series had been at 40 million range. The third weekend of Disney's Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and the fifth frame of Joker are battling for second place in the 11 million to 12 million range, with Joker appearing to lead. The comic book pick will wind up the weekend with 297 million in domestic gross. Go Joker. Focus features Harriet Tubman biopic Harriet, starring Cynthia Cynthia, we'll just say, is coming to the high-end forecast between 10 million and 11 million. Harriet Tubman's story is doing better. And it's only at 2,059 sites. But Warner Brothers crime drama Motherless Brooklyn and Entertainment Studios motion animated picture Arctic Dogs, which I went to see, very funny movie, are showing little traction and heading for an opening of 2 million to 3 million range. All three entries have been forecast to debut at 10 million each. MGM United Arts' fourth frame of The Addams Family should finish its fifth with about 8 million. Its 24-day total with 85 million by the end of the weekend. Terminator Dark Fate took in 2.4 million from Thursday night previews during Halloween. It's first finances entry since 1991's Terminator 2 Judgment Day that the series creator James Cameron and star Lima Hamilton on board with Arnold Schwarzenegger also returning. Cameron is producing David Ellis, while Schwarzenegger and Hamilton are reprising their respective roles as the original T-800 Terminator and the Resistance leader Sarah Connor. Terminator Dark Fate carries a hefty 185 million price tag. The production companies of Paramount Pictures, Cameron's Lightning Storm, Ellis's Skydance Media, 20th Century Fox, and China Cheats Pictures. In Dark Fate, Connor must protect a young girl from a deadly new killer cyborg. From the future, Tim Miller, Deadpool director. Dark Fate from a screenplay by David S. Goyer, Justin Rhodes, and Billy Ray. New cast members include Mackenzie Davis. Yeah, the reviews have been mostly positive, with 69% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, of course. A better response from critics and other recent Terminator entries. The most recent movie, 2015's Terminator Genesis, had a 5-day weekend of 27 million and ended its box office run at 89.7 million in North America and 440 million globally. Terminator 2 Judgment Day remains the highest grossing iteration with 520 million worldwide. So Genesis is beat out this one on its opening day, and it had a low opening.
Yeah, it's not doing so well.
Yeah. So
let me interject something real quick. Apparently, there is a peanut butter debate going on in the chat. I would just like to add my 2 cents worth. I like Skippy, creamy, and I like crunchy as well.
I will agree. I like Skippy, crunchy, creamy.
And
second.
I also like Jif, same creamy and crunchy.
Yes, Hammer. I do agree. Mackenzie Davis was hot in Blade Runner. I will give her credit. Her acting is pretty good with what she was given. Like I said, the acting in this film was not the problem. It's everything else. It's the direction. It's just the whole thing's a mess, a hot mess. You know, and I don't know. It really baffles my mind. So, you know, let me just ask. Oh, go ahead.
You know, we did experience this kind of sort of thing once before.
Okay.
They did it to Luke.
So who?
They did it to Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah,
Jedi.
Jake Skywalker.
Yeah.
No, what they do with John for me was probably worse. Like, okay, Arnold would probably be a better comparison to what they did to Luke, but what they did to John was like, that's probably the worst thing I've seen done to a legacy character yet. So I'm just gonna come out and say it. Like, it was horrible. You know what, chat? I really feel like I got to give you context. So if you guys want me to tell you what happens, just light up the chat and let me know if you don't care about spoilers, because I feel like I got to share the first 5 minutes of this film so you get an idea of what you're in for before wasting your time on this garbage. So go ahead in the chat and let me know if you guys are interested in hearing this.
If I remember correctly, it was leaked a while back. I can't remember who leaked it.
Oh, and let me tell you, those leaks, if you saw the leaks, you probably are spot on, because the leaks, I remember seeing them and thinking, nah, this is stupid. Some of this can't be. 90% of those leaks wound up being in the film. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Senate says no one gives a fuck about spoilers, and then he goes and says something else. All right, I'm gonna assume that everyone here isn't really caring about these spoilers. So
spoilers, warning, you've been warned.
All right, so first 5 minutes of this film opens up. They do the Terminator music. You're getting jazzed up, right? It opens up with the classic Sarah Connor talking about the future and doom and gloom, right? And then it goes to the moments of T2 where, you know, they've quote unquote beat the Terminator, and she's talking about how, you know, they had averted Judgment Day. And then they show a scene with her and John, and they're at this beach and they're kicking back. And I'm like, I'm digging the vibe. I have no clue what's about to happen. Like, it does have a shock value moment, but there you see they like de-age Arnold, and they de-age John Connor. He looks a little bit older because some time has gone by. And the Terminator comes and he shoots John Connor in the chest with a shotgun, drops the shotgun, walks away, and leaves him to bleed out. And this is within the first 5 minutes of the film, before the fucking credits even start. So not just me, but just imagine my whole theater went silent. And I was just like looking, and you know how you have those moments? It was kind of like a Last Jedi moment where you see like Luke throw the lightsaber over his shoulder. You know, one of those what the fuck moments.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it just gets worse from there. I was just like, oh my God. I was like, I like screamed. I was like, and I had saw this before it had come out. So I'm screaming at my fucking screen. But when I was in the theater, I still felt that shock and I knew it was coming. And everyone's just like sitting there like silent. And I'm like, why? Why in the first 5 minutes, the credits don't even start, man. They kill John Connor in the most like, and they do this thing where they just show him bleeding out, and then like, and you're just sitting there going, yeah, this is what I'm in for. And it doesn't get any better from there. It just slowly goes downhill from there. Like the fucking Terminator picking out like home designs and shit. And I'm just like, what? I mean, you know, to Arnold's credit, it's funny, but it's like, this just breaks canon. You're talking about that you're supposed to be getting back to the roots of T2, and you have the fucking T-800. This was a thing where Reese says in Terminator 1, it doesn't eat, it doesn't sleep, it has no conscience. It will not stop until it completes its objective. And now what? It fucking watches Martha Stewart? I don't understand what the direction of this movie was. And the timeline gets fucked up because apparently their reason or lack of reason that this other Terminator came through was that Skynet had sent multiple Terminators in several different points in the timeline. So they didn't just send one or two like we assumed, right? The T-1000, the T-800, the other ones that have come, right, throughout the different timelines. They said that why it looked like Arnold was they sent multiple copies of the Terminator in separate points to make sure that they killed John Connor. So it's like, if you could do that and you're breaking your own canon, why didn't they just send like fucking 6 of them through and just make it minutes apart? If you're saying that they just separated it by days, not weeks, not months, not years, just a few little intervals, and then just send a bunch through to kill him. It breaks the whole canon of the time travel that they established and everything else. Like, it took the time travel and made it worse because the new iterations fucked up the timeline as it was. But this just made you go, well, then what's the whole point of the movie? If they could send them at different points and keep on trying, why did we have any of these other films? And if that's the case, why didn't they just send it a bunch of multiple Terminators all at once and just fucking kill them when in number 1 and then bam?
They basically shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, because you can't go forward with that because now everyone's going to be like, nothing makes sense in the timeline chronologically. What's up, LB?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
What's happening? What's happening?
I don't know if you heard my rant about the new Terminator.
Yeah, I've been listening.
So I hope I didn't spoil anything for you if you planned on seeing it.
Bruh, I have zero plans to see this film. Ever.
So, LB, you're quite logical yourself. What do you think of this foolishness?
Like, man, I seen a review the other night, and then I've been listening to this one, and this movie is exactly what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? Like, if I can remember, I think you talked about the leaks on the stream like months ago.
Yep.
And they all came true.
Every one of them we read.
Every
man.
one of them.
Every one we read, LB. I said, and remember, we talked about this, and I said, some of this stuff is so ridiculous that I refuse to believe. I mean, I had hopes because it's Tim Miller. He made Deadpool. I had hopes that, nah, you know how leaks are just rumors until it's proven. Oh, Jesus Christ. It was far worse. It was far worse than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
And like it you know, when I was watching the review the other night, I started to feel bad for Linda Hamilton, man. But then I was like, no, she got paid a big time check to do this, so she will be all right.
You know, she was laughing all the way to the bank. She was like, go ahead, mess up the franchise. You know, she's thinking I'm done.
honestly, bruh, it's like there's no such thing as messing up the franchise. I mean, what they've been doing that since 19. When did T3 come out? 2003.
Yeah.
They've been doing it since then.
This was just really the nail in the coffin, and I mean, it shows. You heard me read the article about the box office. I mean,
and it flopped hard. And you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna blame it on sexist men.
Of course they are. Of course they are. Man, I got an alert about all these articles that Google alerted me to because I set alerts for the things I love to watch and sci-fi, whatever. And the first article popped up, and the guy was just listing all the stuff that was freaking wrong with this. And every article that I could find, they all had something negative to say, and there weren't many that were shilling for it.
Yeah, I mean, ain't no reason to shill for it. Like, man.
Yeah. but you know there are gonna be a few.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, when it flops, they're gonna come out saying how toxic, sexist males don't want to see a woman Terminator. It's like, bruh, have you seen the first two movies? It's centered around a female.
Right.
I mean, when you think of
the woman was the hero in the first one, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you think strong female characters, what, you go Ripley, you go Sarah Connor. I mean, she's in that bracket. Sometimes they battle the T1 and T2 versus Aliens for me, but I love Aliens a little bit more. So I always put Ripley a little bit above Sarah, but I still like they're battling there for strong female characters that these people seem to think don't exist.
Hey, so I just read Hammer's comment. He was like, but this was supposed to be James Cameron's revival of the franchise. Like, bruh, Hammer, let me tell you something. I knew for a fact James Cameron had nothing to do with this movie, man. Like, this was another one of those, we're going to cut you a check, you're going to co-sign this movie, boom. Like, I don't know how true this is, but they said on the review that I watched the other night, they said, like, James Cameron had absolutely nothing to do with this movie. Like, he was never there. Like, he was a producer or whatever, but it was like, hey, man, what you think of this? All right, cool, man. I'm shooting Avatar. That's cool. Go away.
Here's a cookie. Go away.
Yeah.
James Cameron had about as much involvement, I can guarantee you, as George Lucas had in this new Skywalker saga.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy. They was using his name to promote it, man, bro. He got too much money to be letting them do this, man. Like, why I mean, you know what they're gonna do next, man? Like, they're gonna break him off a big time check somehow to have him direct a Terminator movie.
Yeah, because at this point, the only way that they're going to get people to sit down is if James Cameron is the writer, director, and producer of another Terminator. Because right now, what they did, at least in my mind, this really solidifies that nail in the coffin. Like, you had so much potential. And don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna be one of these people that say the movie was complete trash. No, it had moments of potential, but that's all it was. Little moments that where you look at it and you go, they could have did so much more. But when you disrespect a legacy character before the fucking credits roll, I mean, you take me out of the movie right away. I don't even want to know what's in the rest of the movie when you do something so disrespectful in the beginning.
Golly, so they ain't even give him 30 minutes like they did with Han Solo, bruh?
No, man, five fucking minutes. LB, the credits, Terminator, and all of the things didn't even come up before they fucking killed him. 5 minutes, that's all you get, and a voiceover. And they play the original music. You're getting jazzed up. You're like, okay, all right, $10 well spent. This is feeling like a Terminator movie, you know? Go, Tim.
So bruh got sober to get killed within the first 5 minutes. Man, that might drive him off the wagon for real, bruh.
Like, and
Yeah,
you
gotta wonder how he feels about this, you know?
Man, he's out drinking somewhere. I mean, he got sober. He worked out again. He's like, this is going to be the role that puts me back in the spotlight. Nah, 5 minutes is all you get.
And we can go back to that statement Mark Hamill made. Become a Force ghost and you get a curtain call.
Cha.
And I've taken some time speaking about this, but I'm so disappointed because I am a Terminator fan. I mean,
I don't mean to cut you off, but like the past 3 movies haven't told you something.
You know, there's always that hope. And oh my God, Jesus.
Hope. I mean, bro, like hope. Where you, man, bro? How you getting hope?
You know how it goes when
he had hope because whammon.
I had hope because
bruh, that trailer didn't tell you something, bruh.
Dude, how the fuck are you gonna kill the savior of humanity?
In the first 5 minutes. In the first 5 fucking minutes. How do you not even, like, you don't even space out the death. Like LB said with Han Solo, right? You got him through the majority of the movie. So the fans get hooked, and then, bam, you deliver that jab to the heart. And the movie's almost over anyway, so, you know, fuck it. You're going to walk out a little bit pissed off about this. I'm pissed right before the fucking logo is even up. I'm furious. So I'm like, fuck this movie. Fuck Tim Miller. Fuck James Cameron for living in Pandora, because no one gives a shit about blue people anymore.
He's busy looking for that unobtainium.
Hey, you know what's funny? This is kind of like karma for Tim Miller running his mouth because we wasn't supporting Whammon. Y'all remember those comments he made?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Articles.
Yep.
And it's like, no, Tim, no, it's not. We weren't supporting women. It's we weren't supporting a shitty story, Tim.
I'm telling you, the only I don't even know if this is concrete truth. I'm just spitballing. I think the only movie that has had like backlash from like feminism and all of that has succeeded is Captain Marvel. And I don't think it succeeded nothing because of Captain Marvel. It's because it's a Marvel movie. But every other one flops.
Yeah, that one succeeded because of Samuel L. Jackson.
And product placement. Let's not forget product placement and a great marketing team. I mean, Marvel can market their movies. They know exactly where to place them. And Kevin Feige's a mad genius when it comes to that. Because, you know, if he releases that any other time, that movie doesn't do $1 billion. And that's saying it wouldn't do good, but it damn sure wouldn't be up to $1 billion.
It wouldn't have done better than Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I 100% agree. And I didn't think Ant-Man and the Wasp was that bad of a movie, honestly. I liked it.
I like that movie. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like Walton Goggins as a bad guy?
Yeah, I was talking more about the Wasp, but whatever.
I know you were, PB.
Well, put it to you this way: I think so little of the director of Dark Fate. I'm not even going to name him. I named my last video "Dark Fate Director I Reject," and it's on the thumbnail too.
Good, that's what he deserves.
Yeah, and it kind of been a small happy accident that I've been rendering videos on my phone because I got a GPU cooling fan that went out, and so far I received 2 really wrong fans and 1 right one but wrong because they got the bottom number wrong. The serial number completely right. Bottom numbers got to match because those different fans are different volts and stuff like that, and it doesn't match. And so I'm waiting for the third one to come. So the third time will be a charm. But I've discovered that I can definitely render videos on my phone, and man, it takes like 5 minutes for a 13-minute video to upload. I'm just like blown away, like wow. And it took me about 5-10 minutes to render a 13-minute video.
Well, it only took them about 5 minutes to completely destroy Terminator 1 and 2.
Yeah, the highlight is don't go and see it.
You
But
know,
if you want,
it's funny. I had a screening to go see it on Tuesday, but I wasn't I couldn't see it because I wasn't available to go. I was in the not at the nowhere close to it. But yeah, I would have went to go see it, even though I don't want to see it because I'm not interested in the Terminator movies. Like Terminator 2 is great, you know what I'm saying? Like Terminator 1's alright, but I'm just like the rest of the movies is just trying to rewrite history, man. So it's just like whatever.
Yeah, they're just trying to make a queen look like she can handle a shotgun.
Yeah.
I don't mind Amelia Clarke as Sarah Connor. It was not terrible, but it's not good.
She's terrible, bro. I don't care what nobody say.
I don't think PB was highlighting her acting, but if you want to,
That's a fact.
but if you do want something that might not be terrible, Apple TV Plus, more than The Morning Show. The star-studded news drama has received the most of the attention, but there are other shows too. Here's what we think of Dickinson's For All Mankind and See. So,
with Aquaman.
The Morning Show, with its slick surface and murderously expensive cast, is the gleaming shell designed to entice you to buy an Apple TV Plus. Other inaugural series on the new streaming service, the hinkier and less star-driven Dickinson For All Mankind and See, are the apps Apple needs you to get addicted to, so that you'll keep paying. Here's a look. So Apple TV is launched, and they've got some series that are coming out that they're hoping will catch on and get people to buy their streaming service. I'm sure who is it? Perp was talking about Apple, right?
I suppose. I don't know why he's talking about. He's always talking about everything streaming, though. I guess.
I don't know. I don't know how he watches all this stuff. I barely.
Well, he doesn't necessarily watch all of it, but he thinks that streaming is the exclusive wave of the future, and I disagree.
LB, do you think streaming is the exclusive wave of the future? Everything else is gonna disappear?
No.
What do you think, Bear?
Actually, I think it could be used as a tool to control watch on some levels or to a certain degree.
Are we talking like straight TV or like other stuff?
Like,
No, I was talking
no.
like TV and satellite are going to be around for God knows how long.
Man, just look at how many people watch like NCIS. Like, come on, bro.
20 million?
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, bro.
Like, those people aren't going to die for another 10 to 15 years minimum.
Yeah,
Minimum.
exactly.
and science is getting better. We're living longer.
Yeah, but they aren't getting better with science. All they do is go, okay, I got to turn on CBS on, what is that, Tuesday, Wednesday night? I don't freaking know what night it's on. But they just know what time to turn the TV on. That's it.
By the way, when I read this article, if you guys could watch the back room in the chat, just so I don't miss anything.
I got my eye on it.
Super. So these are the shows they're leading with, and let's see if they sound intriguing for us to buy yet another streaming service for all mankind. If a story has been famously and repeatedly told as recently as in the spat of moon landing documentaries that filled TV screens this summer, how do you justify telling it again? Ronald D. Moore and his collaborators in this big old-fashioned 10-episode retelling of the space race came up with an easy solution. They changed the story, having the Soviet Union sneak a couple of cosmonauts into the moon just before the launch of Apollo 11. That alteration of history has a couple of payoffs for Moore, who's demonstrated his skill with pulpy, sweeping pop entertainments before in Battlestar Galactica, which I like, and Outlander, which I like. It gives him a plausible, organic way to put
Yeah, I like those two.
to put women at the center of the NASA narrative. Oh no! God damn it, Moore! Why? All right. Now I'm gonna read on. Let's see what Moore's got going. And even on the moon, overall, the show works with and against the currents of history to highlight female and gay characters. Oh no, Moore! Oh no! Damn it!
Epic
Damn it,
fail.
Moore. In ways that feel less tacked on and obligatory than in a lot of other period dramas. The same can't be said for the immigration subplot that is throughout the episodes. Feels superfluous and in its liking of the cross-border journey to the across space journey alarmingly on the nose. Putting the Russians back into the race has pure dramatic benefit too. It makes everything dangerous again, in contrast to the process of problem-free real-life landing Apollo 13 aside, that the American public quickly lost interest in. The show's alt-mass cuts, corners, and Russia's decisions to meet public relations needs of Richard Nixon and his surprise successor. The amplified pressure leads to the breakdown and death among the Apollo astronauts.
You need to let the bear back in.
Ah, okay. Oh, man.
Yeah, I pulled my cam USB plug out and it bumped me out.
Ha! Fucking yard.
But man, why Moore? Why are you going woke? All right. But what also comes through strongly is Moore's simple pleasure in finding a new way to play with the bright toys of the familiar story, to venture where the right stuff and Apollo 13, not to mention Al Renard's great 1989 documentary For All Mankind, have gone before. So we get vintage Corvette racing to the Outpost Saloon and pastel backyard barbecues and anxious wives and one husband perched in front of a black and white TV set. Nostalgia is compounded by the 1960s-70s soundtrack, which has some quirky choices, Truly Clark's World Song and James Gang's Funk Number 49, and an elaborate plot thread involving the Bob Newhart Show. Joel Kinnaman and Michael Dorman had the large cast as a pair of fictitious astronauts who came close to the moon on Apollo 10 and hoped for the chance to go back. The show's divergence from history means that, well, quite a few real people are major characters. A few real people, like the actual Apollo 10 astronauts, are written out. Over the course of the story, it's fun to see the lives and careers of the historical figures like Warren von Braun, Coleman Farrell, and Dyke Slayton. Chris Bauer are tweaked in response to the fictional events. It's more amusing, unfortunately, than most of what happens in the central story involving Kinnaman's and Dorman's buddy astronauts and their wives, played by Chantal Van Santen and Sarah Jones. Their domestic drama accompanies a lot of screen time and plays out in ways both predictable and unlikely. For all of its polish and cleverness and suspense for all mankind, ultimately puts the soap in space opera. And C, which has Aquaman.
Blind Aquaman. He can't see.
Which is irony. shot in beautiful British Columbia locations and post-industrial settings that could have been lit over a Planet of the Apes movie. The gorgeous Extinction Parable C exhibits a ripe ridiculousness that's almost endearing. 3 of the 10 episodes were available. Created and written by Stephen Knight, who I like. Please don't.
Oh, shit. We know how this is going to go now.
Who's known for his cult British crime series, Pinky Blinders, which is amazing.
Which he likes. Oh,
Yep.
shit.
But whose most significant credit could be shared in the creation 2 decades ago of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. C imagines a future world in which a virus has nearly wiped out humanity and has rendered the survivors blind. Eyesight is the formulation of its original sin that lead people to nearly destroy the planet. And when a pair of sighted children are born into a tribal neo-native society, their ability has to be hidden in plain scent, sound, and touch, as it were. The Hunger Games director, Francis Lawrence, directed...
Which you like.
Well, so far, this has sounded better than the astronaut thing.
That's for sure.
Directed the series. It looks great and moves well. The landscapes are impossibly lush, pointing up to the inability of the characters to see them. And there are exciting scenes of combat, large and small scale. Care was taken in the hiring of performers and consultants to make the presentation of blindness convincing. But no one seems to have done the more difficult and boring work of really thinking through how to make the premise convincing on screen. For an Apple product, it's a startling failure of engineering. Some poetic license is fine, but these people in their fitted buckskins who talk like characters from an Edgar Rice Burroughs novel, Hatred
Which you like.
Hatred and Vengeance are the 2 wild horses pulling his carriage. No one can both be and not be all at once. Stretch the definition. Why do they talk like that when they've supposedly forgotten what books were? It's just one of the countless questions you may ask. Like why Enraged Bear doesn't just take a bite out of the chief, played by Jason Momoa, because he's the lead character and they can't kill him, who looks pretty tasty. What?
Oh, well, that was a turn I didn't see coming.
Don't they know bears like salmon and berries?
Well, he is Aquaman. or why the rituals of a distant future in which people can't see so strongly resemble the more embarrassing products of the 21st century dance and performance art or stomp. Dickinson. This looks intriguing. Hey. Okay.
I doubt it.
The slightest but perhaps most interesting of the Apple Plus shows, though 3 episodes, is this half-hour comedy that makes the young poet Emily Dickinson, Ellie Steinfeld, the star of her own teenage rom-com, Little Women, with sex, profanity, and opium ragers. Okay.
Holy fuck.
I think I found a show I might want to check out. Alina Smith, who has written the Newsroom and The Affair, created the show with its high-low deadpan spoof of both melodrama and sitcom conventions. But in the first 2 episodes, there's a woozy, off-kilter quality, less arc than you'd expect, more surreal. That probably comes from the director David Gordon Green. He's also the he's also the executive producer, so perhaps the show will be able to keep that distinctive tone without the comic spins on the details of Dickinson's biograph. Her propension for baking, her passion for volcanoes would be less engaging, and the twerking and the modern dialogue so pimp.
Did you just say twerking?
Yes.
Okay.
What is twerking about it?
I have no idea.
Hold on. So this isn't something white people just say?
No, not like in my everyday language. I don't use the word twerking. No.
Man, I'm from Gary, Indiana. I never heard no one say that.
Oh, you in the hood.
Fuck yeah.
Michael Jackson land.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, they say so pimp. What part don't you understand? Could veer from funny to irritating. As it stands, the early episodes may not be very illuminating regarding Dickinson on her poetry, but they're a consistently amusing twist on a teenage shit.
What? Where? Teenage Ajita?
Vegeta, yeah, I'm not. You know, that's.
I don't fucking know.
It's Agita, I think.
Sure.
And a lot quicker to watch than HBO's Euphoria.
I have no idea what that word means.
I don't either.
You don't know what euphoria means?
No.
God damn it, LB. You bastard.
So.
Oh, man. I mean, I've seen a couple commercials for that TV show C already, and it looked interesting, but then you read that off, and now it's less interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's...
None of those sound good to me.
No, none of them sounded interesting. I was down for that moon show, and then they just went with the female and gay astronauts, and I'm
more down for Game of Thrones prequels that don't matter.
Yeah, because we know.
Put that in perspective.
Man, you know what? Hollywood needs to hire Mercedes Lackey. You know? She can write characters. Doesn't matter what persuasion they are. She can write them. And it doesn't really virtue signal, and it's just a good story. So, yeah, they need to immediately hire her, and they need to create a school and teach Hollywood not to do this stuff that ruin our stories.
Hammer says...
But then how will we show everybody how woke we are?
I love what Hammer put. He goes, Opium Ragers? I enjoyed a chill Jim Morrison Opium Night in my youth.
The truth will set you free.
And Hammer also broke down that word. Ajita means angry and such.
I thought that's what the word teenager means.
Right. This app, man, that Apple TV. I said from the get go when they dropped the lineup of what they come, it sounded like a bunch of Hollywood elites deciding, hey, let's start a streaming service together and stroke each other's egos.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Because
Like-
outside of the Snoopy show, it's just like, bruh, what is all this nonsense y'all putting out, man?
Snoopy shows.
Yeah, they putting out Charlie Brown and Snoopy show.
What,
That's
like
it.
it's going to be animated?
Yeah.
Yeah, old school. The old school animation.
Intriguing.
Yeah, that's like the only thing that was intriguing.
So anyone that's nostalgic about Peanuts is probably going to want to go check it out. And then when they start checking out, they're going to be like, why did I get this?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna woken it up a little bit.
Oh, you know it.
Oh no. Is he actually going to kick the football? Be like, we didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, so we're just going to have him kick the football.
It's like
If he kicks that football, I'm going to fucking riot.
oh, by
I
the
don't even
way,
have Apple TV on. I'm going to burn it to the fucking ground if they have him kick that football. If he ever kicks that football, it's the end of the fucking world. It's worse than fucking killing John Connor. Like, there are certain things you don't fuck with. He is never meant to kick that football.
Never.
All right. This is going to sound familiar. You don't spit in the wind. You don't tug on Superman's cape, and you don't mess with Jim. Those are the few things in life you just don't do.
like,
And I had a friend named Jim, and you really did not want to mess with Jim. Man.
like, oh my god, oh, Jesus, that, and you know,
So, I don't care how cheap Apple TV is, and I don't care if I, stupidly get an Apple product. I ain't watching any shows that they got.
Yeah, I'm definitely not.
What the
Man.
hell?
They're going to have to bundle that service when you buy a brand new Apple phone for free if they want people to watch it.
from what I heard from,
And watch, I said it here first if they do it.
That's what we were told. Is that's what they're gonna do? Is if you get any Apple product, you're supposed to get Apple TV for a year. At
yep,
least that's what the Purple Man told us. And we know how he loves his technology and devices.
yeah. So, I mean, it's a good gimmick because I just feel like you can give that away. Like, I was interested in C and the Dickinson thing because I want to see these opium ragers.
No, and the way that what was the one with all of the what's the one with Jennifer Aniston? The
Right.
comedy?
Yeah, that whole feminist TV show or whatever.
Yeah, I seen the commercial for that. I was like, nope, don't need to waste my time on this fucking dribble.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit.
Good night, Generation Productions. And really quick, Hammer had a question actually for me. Zod, you work in the theater, yes? People should enjoy good cinema in a theater, like Joker. 100% agree with that statement. If you've already seen it, go back and see it again. I'm up to 7 times, and the crazy
How
unicorn.
many
was out.
times have you paid for it? You haven't supported Joker at all.
You telling people to go see it and you ain't paid to go see it. What kind of hypocritical mess is this?
This guy.
Are you guys surprised I'm a villain?
No, we're never
hypocrite.
surprised by anything that happens here anymore. There's no more room for surprises.
So I've got 2 more interesting articles. One I covered with Blizzard. LB, I know you're not into the gaming community. Some of you guys aren't, but there is a relevance to the fact that there's a mess with China going on, and the company has made huge missteps as far as what's been going down with that. So I wanted to share with you because they suspended one of their players for supporting the protests in China. And
So
they
so
not only
another company bending over for China.
Yep. And
Yep.
here's what happened. They suspended him. He won the Call of Duty tournament or one of those, or I forgot. No, it was Hearthstone, one of those games. He won it, and he came out in like the gear that they got on for the protest, the mask and everything. And they wind up suspending him, taking away his prize money, his status, and and saying that.
And
he
they
was on
told him to
suspension.
go back where he came from.
Yeah, and here's the funny part too. He's a Chinese player. So,
Oh my God. Wow.
And this caused the people at Blizzard to walk out and in protest of what was going on. And actually, Tommy brought this to my attention about this to cover on the channel. So thank you, Tommy. I've actually been following it, and I pulled up a new article that says after the layoffs and a PR disaster, some Blizzard employees are dreading BlizzardCon. BlizzardCon, if you guys don't know, is like a big convention where Blizzard unveils their new stuff coming out. And with everything that's been going on, the hype, let's just say, has not been good.
I thought you were going to say Blizzard Con was just Canada from December to February.
So, employees of Blizzard Entertainment always look forward to BlizzCon, the Iran-based gaming company's annual event for fans. Although preparing for it takes weeks of frenzied work, it's a chance to debut games they've been toiling on, and the thousands of fans who pay more than $200 a ticket for entry treat everyone with an employee badge with reverence. BlizzCon is sort of like the Christmas of Blizzard, one staffer said. Some were looking forward to this year's edition to be held Friday and Saturday in Anaheim. I didn't say Alheim. More than usual.
Finally.
As a much-needed respite after punishing an anxious 12 months. In October 2018, Mike Morhaime, the company's beloved founder, stepped down as president. BlizzCon 2018, falling a few weeks later, was greeted by fans and gaming critics as a letdown, with the major product release, the mobile game of Diablo Immortal, drawing jeers. Then February came, the heaviest blow yet, the layoff of roughly 800 people, or about 8% of Activision Blizzard's workforce, coming after the company reported record-shifting profits, bringing in $7.5 billion in revenue in 2018. It was a shock. To some employees who made it through the past 12 months, this year's BlizzCon represents an opportunity for a do-over, a reset, a makeup baby, as the staffer put it. It could mark the end of a difficult era for Blizzard and the beginning of a promising new one. Then everything got worse. In October, with BlizzCon less than a month away, esports player Blitzchung appeared on a Taiwanese broadcast for a post-match interview in a gas mask and goggles and yelled in support of the pro-democracy protests rolling Hong Kong. As a punishment, the company kicked him out of the tournament, revoked his $10,000 in winnings, and banned him from Hearthstone esports for a year. In response to the perceived curtailment of free expression by an American company with partial Chinese ownership, an army of gamers took to Reddit to howl that their outrage and hashtag boycott Blizzard trend on Twitter. As the fury mounted, U.S. senators called out the company, for abandoning free speech values and bowing to the Chinese government in exchange for a quick buck. Blizzard president apologized for handling of gamers' Hong Kong protests. Some fans want more. Employees said they have fielded venomous backlash on social media and in emails and been confronted by passerby while wearing company apparel of Blizzard's campus. Now they are bracing for in-person protests as Blizzard ramps up security for BlizzCon. According to internal emails and accounts from 3 current employees and 2 former employees who declined to be named because they were not authorized to speak on the matter and feared professional repercussions, the staffer who compared BlizzCon to Christmas said the prospect of protest has poisoned anticipation for this year's event. A lot of people that would have been happy and excited are now feeling dread that something is going to happen, he said. You don't know if it's going to be people chanting outside. You don't know if it's going to be someone on stage. You don't know if it's going to be something dangerous that might actually hurt people. In a statement, Dustin Blackwell, a Blizzard Entertainment spokesman, said, BlizzCon has always been a place where we celebrate the passion and diversity of the Blizzard company, where we encourage and support many creative and thoughtful ways attendees share and reflect their views and interests. And this year will be no different. The safety and security of our attendees and has always been top priority. And every year we iterate with new measures to bring our event even more up to date while doing everything we can to create a comfortable environment for everyone. Within Blizzard, the reaction to the company's punishment of Blitzchung was immediate, by far from uninformed. On the morning of October 9th, at the company's campus in Ivan, roughly 30 employees walked out in protest. From 10 a.m. to around 6 p.m., they huddled around the 12-foot statue of an orc that stands in the center of the courtyard. A creature from fantasy, the orc is a symbol of Blizzard's offbeat culture. Although it was a sunny day, many protesters brandished umbrellas as a symbol of resistance in Hong Kong, where pro-democracy protests have roiled the streets for months. A wave of protests in 2014 were dubbed the Umbrella Revolution. Meanwhile, inside the buildings strewn around the campus, there were less visible discussions taking place on the internal messaging system Slack, which the company had recently started using. Was the company's decision appropriate? Should Blizzard walk back its punishment? Employees wondered, according to
That
one
Mad's
employee.
in.
Oh, okay.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Outside the company, the loudest voices of expression certitude that Blizzard had done something wrong, but within its walls, the discussion was more nuanced, with some believing the critics were holding Blizzard and its parent Activision, which is worth $42.8 billion, and employs a workforce of roughly 9,000 to an unfair standard. Many workers defended the decision, and the discussions at times grew heated. There were a lot of differing opinions on the role political speech has within Blizzard, and employees said, is there a moral imperative to do the right thing? Do we just provide fantasy for people to set their real life aside? Rank and file workers debated the right course of action and watched the backlash grow online. They waited for words of explanation or encouragement from Blizzard leadership. It wasn't until nearly 4 days the company broke its silence with a statement from James Allen Breck, president of Blizzard Entertainment, walking back the worst of the punishment it had issued for Blitzchung, whose real name is, wow, I'm not going to say that.
What? Why not?
Because I'm going to horribly butcher that. I can say Chung.
Mr. Chung.
Mr. Chung. The length of so they go with Nig's ban was cut to 6 months from a year, and the company said it would give him his $10,000 in prize winnings it had revoked. Since Nig had played fair, Nig could participate in the next Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament if he wanted. Externally, the statement in which the company said it would continue to enforce limits on non-gaming speech in an official company broadcast did little to reduce the pressure. Prominent former Blizzard employee Mark Kern, who led the team that created World of Warcraft, treated that in a statement was ludicrously legalists that only reinforced the idea that the company will restrict players' speech if it offends the Chinese government. Earlier, Kern called for a boycott of Blizzard. A bipartisan group of U.S. Congress members signed a letter calling on the company to reconsider its stance. Fight for the Future digital rights advocate group declared a protest at BlizzCon and called for a blanket protest of companies that Jesus Christ.
Acquiesce.
Thank you. Acquiesce to the Chinese government's interest. A Facebook event titled Raid BlizzCon 2019, dressed as Winnie the Pooh, started as a joke but developed into plans for a real protest as hundreds of people RSVP'd. Winnie the Pooh is a protest meme in China as the Chinese president Xi Jinping is said to bristle at the supposed resemblance. Brick's statement helped to dissipate some angry internally, and discussion shift in Slack channels from debate about the company's actions to managing the repercussions for BlizzCon, as staff has
Now it's fun. Busied?
Yes, themselves with the preparations for their event. One current employee and two former employees described Blizzard as a workplace where political discussions are mostly reserved for private conversation, not played out in public forums as they famously are, or at least used to be, at Google and other Silicon Valley companies that encourage employees to bring their whole selves into work. Against the backdrop of the idea of asking gamers to keep politics out of official streams did not seem absurd to everyone. Some employees also saw Blizzard as unfairly singled out for its Chinese ties. Trench has a massive Chinese company, owns partial stake in Activision Blizzard, fueling unsubstantial social media claims that Trench was behind the decision to punish Nike but competitor Riot Games is fully owned by Trench, which also owns 40% stake in Epic Games. Blizzard is not the only company who has lots of ties to China, one employee said. Blizzard is just the first one that got their hand caught in the cookie jar. The tough punishment meted out to Blitzchung was less a sign of obstinance to China than a sympathy of a subtle shift in the company's culture, said three current former employees who believe Blizzard has become increasingly corporate and less focused on its values and its people since Moram's departure. One former employee pointed out the way Moram took a stand against the Gamergates movement, a harassment campaign against female game developer and a proxy for backlash against inclusive and diversity in the gaming community. Lingering nostalgia for Moram and his more accessible leadership style has contributed to a feeling among some employees that Blizzard is no longer run by Blizzard executives, but rather controlled by its Activision parent based in Santa Monica. Andrew Rollins, published director of global esports at Blizzard Entertainment, declined to comment on the company's leadership style, but pointed to a tent in Blizzard's mission statement that reads, "Early voices matters," and encourages every employee speak up, listen, be respectful of other people's opinions, and embrace criticism as just another avenue for great ideas. With BlizzCon looming, Blizzard management has made some attempts to ease mounting employee concerns and messages reviewed by the Times. In early October, Chief Security
Wait, they've made attempts to ease the mounting of employees? That doesn't seem appropriate.
employee concerns, not ease the mounting of employees. Damn it. But that sounds funny. Chief Security Officer Mark Adams sent an email notifying employees of increased security guards and patrols because of protests gathered outside in its campus. Executive producer of BlizzCon, Sarlin Smith, sent a follow-up in October 18 to assuage concern about potential security threats at BlizzCon. Smith wrote that she and Adams would host a town hall in the coming weeks, although it could be confirmed whether the town hall happened. Blackwell, the Blizzard spokesman, said in a statement the company's welcomes open, constructive, and civil discussions of different perspectives at the show. BlizzCon attendees who want to gauge the mood inside the company for themselves will have the opportunity at a session titled Life at Blizzard, Career and Culture Insights. It's programming decisions that struck at least one ex-employee who was laid off from Activision in February, questionably given the context. Do you think of all years this year, you do a panel about working at Blizzard, she tweeted. So yeah, lots of stuff going on over there. What do you guys think about this thing going on with Blizzard, and do you think that they are pandering to China with all of these decisions that they have made? And
they are absolutely pandering to China with all of the decisions that they're making. It's all about the almighty dollar.
yeah, and Activision has been a shit show. I mean, they make Call of Duty, but I don't like the shit that they call. Like, I hate when things I like just go downhill. But LB, what do you think hearing about all of this that has been going on?
Oh yeah, he heard about it. The never-ending article.
Oh yeah.
Bruh, I mean, I honestly don't care, bro. Like, these people bending over backwards to China, bro. Like, no, bro. This is not how it's supposed to be. You don't give in to communism, man.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought we did in America, not give in to communism.
But I guess money is far more important.
That's right.
Max, what do you think about this? She's muted.
That's because there was some commotion. Why don't you ask the other bear then?
Sorry.
Oh, she's back now.
Little one has a sore throat, so yeah, it's entertaining for me. No, actually, I used to be a huge fan of Blizzard. I mean, a lot of my favorite games were done by them. I admit I was half paying attention, but so I'm not entirely certain about what the article was about.
The article's about them taking it up the rear from China, but they got paid for it, so it's okay.
So now I understand why you pulled this up, Zod. You should sympathize.
You really just read the longest article in the world, and all you needed to say was F China, bro.
Yeah, like I don't know who the hell wrote that thing, but there's so much fluff in that article that is irrelevant to what the points are. This is
Yeah.
making me lose my mind. Like she said, I was only half paying attention too, or else I would have known what words you were on. Like acquiesce.
I zoned out after China.
And
He's like, oh, China again. Fuck it.
Yeah.
you're not.
Bear, what do you think?
That gaming Blizzard, that's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Has to do with the communists and the China stuff, you know. I'm for America first, you know. Take care of us first.
Yeah,
And make it fair.
it's the companies bending over backwards for these for the foreign market, and they're completely forgetting the market that started them. That's the market here. I don't understand the need to pander to outside markets.
Oh, there's plenty of need. There's plenty of money in it. Just look at Hollywood.
Yeah. A lot of money there.
That's true.
Money's far more important than free speech and all that stuff. But Hollywood never cared about morals.
Nope.
No, who cares about the First Amendment when we can make some money?
Exactly.
Speaking of making money and pandering, McDonald's apologizes.
For what? Making people fat? There's no way.
No, they'll never apologize for that. McDonald's apologizes for Sundae Bloody Sundae advert. McDonald's in Portugal has issued an apology after running an advert for...
Who cares about Portugal?
Portugal is not real.
Apparently,
It's just a bunch of people that are saying, oh, yeah, we live here, but we're not Spanish.
I've actually been to Portugal. It's pretty cool, but who cares about Portugal?
The Portuguese don't?
Exactly. They'll rather be in Brazil. That's where they all go to.
Oh, okay, good. Then we can detour to Hammer has a direct question for General Zod that has nothing to do with Portugal.
Can you tell me about the technical specs of your theater, good sir?
Man.
Wow.
Man.
That's a question.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Epic.
I'm no technician, and I'm a C-level villain apparently. But I would have to ask.
You're being generous on the sea level.
Indeed.
I'm working my way to B. I'm really wanting to know exactly what you want to know technically about my theater.
Does your movie theater have leather seats?
No.
Does your movie theater have 3D?
Yes.
Do you have an RPX?
No.
IMAX?
No.
Women?
Yes.
No.
Well, there you have it, Hammer.
And you know what? Fuck Greg Marcus, because we've been asking for Dream Loungers, and that motherfucker shot us down twice. And then he does a stupid promo with his brother and his fucking dad, who's old as shit, talking about how everybody loves Greg and all the life experiences he has and how rich he is. Fuck you, Greg. fuck you and your Rolls Royce and your fucking once a year visit where you go and you talk about how fucking great you are and you can't give us dream loungers. You can't even remodel our bathroom, Greg. Fuck you.
I'm okay with Greg.
Does your bathroom have the condom machines?
No.
Deep dive into the technical specs.
So Hammer, this is not a movie theater you want to go to.
Nope.
I go in
You
there.
cannot pound safely in this movie theater.
Yeah, I think Perp summed it up just fine.
Oh yeah.
Does your movie theater even have a scanner for digital tickets?
Yes, we just got that 2 months ago.
Oh my god.
Like so they built a new majestic theater, right? And they gave it all the fucking bells and whistles. And then they told us before Majestic opened, we were getting dream loungers, we were gonna get a remodel, they were gonna redo our fucking parking lot. They did one side of the parking lot, and they've taken like 3 months to set up an appointment to do the bathrooms.
Well, looks like Hammer needs to go lay the hammer down on your movie theater.
Yeah, Hammer, if you got some ideas, and Greg is cheap as fuck, so if you got some affordable ideas, I mean, shoot me a DM, let me know, and I'll pass it along to that stingy fuck Greg.
What's the largest size? What's the biggest screen in your theater? Is it what, 50 inches?
Maybe slightly bigger. God, it's depressing.
But he gets to watch movies there for free, so it's allegedly worth it. But you should pay for Joker. Everyone in the chat should definitely go pay for it.
Yes.
The amount
Yes.
Zod shielded, he should pay for it too.
Joker
Son of a
is so
bitch.
good that General Zod refuses to pay for it.
Joker is so good, I had to go try another movie.
Oh my god. Pulling the old Michael K excuses out.
So, I got some information on one of PB's favorite movies to look
What do you
at.
mean my favorite movies to look at? What?
Your favorite Marvel movie to look at. You'll know when I read the title. Hold on.
They just glazed over the
No.
Sundae Bloody Sundae thing.
Yeah, apparently no one cares about Portugal. So,
Like,
Peyton Reed.
why do you think someone would care about Portugal?
Oh no, I was just referencing how McDonald's in Portugal had to do an apology for promoting Sundae Bloody Sundae, but they put Sundae like the delicious ice cream sundae.
Like the dessert. Some genius over there in marketing didn't, stop and think, oh wait a minute, this might also reference, the mass shooting in Ireland, that you two wrote a song about.
They weren't a big YouTube fan. So, PB, Peyton Reed to direct Ant-Man 3.
That's not a good thing.
I don't know who Peyton Reed is. Who the fuck is Peyton Reed?
He directed the first 2 Ant-Man movies.
I don't have a problem with those. Am I meant to have a problem with those?
I mean, I didn't say you should have a problem. I'm just saying that's not a good thing to me.
To you, okay.
But apparently, PB, if you loved the first 2, then you're getting more of the same you love. So
I mean, I guess cross my fingers.
the filmmaker is staying in Marvel Studios' fold. The Ant-Man the Ant-Man corner of the Marvel Cinematic Universe will continue to be Peyton Reed's place. The director who helmed 2015's Ant-Man and 2018's Ant-Man and the Wasp has signed to helm the third Ant-Man movie, The Hollywood Reporter has learned. Paul Rudd is expected to return as Scott Lang, the heart-heartening hero with the power of petiteness. What? In the new installment. It would be Rudd's 5th time out as the character, barring any other surprise appearances. The plot details are being kept hidden in the quantum realm. No release details have been confirmed, but sources say the plan is to shoot at the end of 2020 or top of 2021 for a likely release in 2022. Sources say that the sequels, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Thor Love and Thunder, will shoot before Ant-Man 3.
Of course they will shoot before, because they actually have release dates.
Much like his fellow Marvel cohorts, Joe and Anthony Russo, Reed started off in the comedy worlds of TV and movies, making his feature directorial debut with cheerleading comedy Bring It On. Movies such as Down with Love, The Breakup, and Yes Man followed. He was brought to Marvel Universe when, late in the movie's development process, he replaced Edgar Wright to helm Ant-Man. The movie grossed $519.3 million. The sequel, which Reed was more involved with, grew to a $622.6 million gross. Reed is repped by WME Sloan Offer.
Peyton, man, don't get me started on Peyton Reed.
Oh, Peyton Reed is this black guy with the bow tie?
No, Peyton Reed was the white dude.
Oh, who's the black guy with the bow tie?
He's actually one of the characters in Ant-Man.
That's T.I.
That's
That was T.I.? This is a tiny picture. I couldn't tell. My bad.
So,
well, thank God that one was shorter. People in the chat were afraid this was going to be another long-winded article. It was not, Hammer. It was not.
So, what do you, I know what LB thinks. PB, are you excited about the new Ant-Man 3 coming out?
What? I mean, when's it coming out?
Yeah, probably 2022.
I mean,
You wasn't paying attention, PB?
No.
I pulled up the article for you. I was like, Ant-Man, PB will be ecstatic about this. The director's returning. It'll probably have that zany fun he's come to know and love, and Wasp.
I have no idea.
PB pays attention when it's Star Wars and cheese. Okay? We all
Those
know
are
this.
facts. That's true. I mean, I wanted an Ant-Man 3. I'm just afraid of how they're going to connect it with everything else at this point, because they don't really need his, what do I want to say, his time machine or his shrink machine, whatever the hell. I don't remember the name of the machine that they use in Ant-Man and the Wasp that they use to go to whatever the smaller universes where they pick up Michael Douglas's wife.
Yeah, it was the Quantum Realm.
Yes, the Quantum Realm. Yeah, so using the Quantum Realm drive, like, they don't need that anymore unless they're trying to fix some problem that was caused in the timeline in some other movie because it didn't make fucking sense. Then maybe I would be even more jazzed up for it.
Oh yeah, my God! With the way the timeline is, to this day, no one's we haven't figured out what the fuck the timeline is.
There is no timeline. All of the time is lines.
Zod, look at the private chat. I found something you might find a bit interesting.
Okay. How do I?
I mean, I will definitely be excited for it as long as the Wasp is still in it. I wanted her to be in the first movie more.
I'm gonna see it, but like, man, Peyton Reed sucks, man.
Like,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
think he is the reason why the movies were as good as they were, because it's not like they're the best Marvel movies. They're not. They're
He
not even the
sucks.
best introduction movies for an individual character, because they
sucks.
both introduce characters
He
as far
sucks.
as the superheroes are concerned.
He's a super sucker. He sucks.
But I
very
mean, when
bad.
you got Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, and Michael Douglas to work with, because I don't know how much they're going to have Michelle Pfeiffer in it, because she might be in it substantially, but then again, she could just be not in it at all. She wasn't in the first one at all. It wasn't
He
missing her.
sucks. He sucks. They need a better director.
Well, apparently,
He's like you're going to McDonald's and you order a hamburger with nothing on it, just a hamburger.
Oh. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to a different director. Like, all he did was direct it. He didn't write the story.
I think he wrote the script for the last one. The first one, Edgar Wright did it.
Okay.
And he just touched it up. No, Adam McKay. Adam McKay was the screenwriter for Ant-Man 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Let me
know. Either
double
way,
check.
I want the whole past 10 years or so summed up by Ant-Man's buddy.
Oh no,
Yes.
Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd did the screenplay.
No, but I want the whole the guy that in both movies.
Oh, the guy, I can't think.
Sums up everything?
Luis?
Yes, Luis. I want the whole timeline summed up by
could
Luis.
do it. He could do it in about 35 seconds.
All right, yeah. Paul Rudd did the screenplay of both of them, and Adam McKay did the first one. But yeah, man.
Okay.
But Peyton Reed's vanilla, man. He's basic.
No, I wouldn't be opposed
seriously,
to
what
getting
is with you
a
now?
better director.
I got a question.
Go.
Okay.
Do you guys like Paul Rudd?
Oh yeah.
I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I like him too.
Like,
And
I was
it's-
very skeptical of him becoming a superhero. I was like, really? Paul Rudd? What? And then I watched the first movie. I was like, okay, I'm in.
Same. I like it because
Like-
he's in them. Truth be told.
Right. I'm not like Zod where I go, oh, well, I don't like it because it's an Indian guy playing a Chinese guy's role and he's a comedian and they can't teach him how to fight.
Fuck that. Fuck Eternals. Don't get me started on that. Shit show.
No,
So,
I'm
yeah,
not.
I will not.
You want me to go on to a Zod-like rant? It's like it's Last Airbender.
Yes. Thank you, Max. It's gonna be fucking disastrous. Mark my words.
It's not going to be disastrous.
What's
It's going to be fine. Indians know how to fight.
Their Ant movie's gonna be fine. It'll be good. As long as they're not trying to do like another Last Airbender, because they couldn't even get his name right.
What are you mad about, Zod?
Everything.
He's mad about something that hasn't even happened yet. It's like
Yeah.
being mad about The Last Jedi in 2016. None of us were.
Yeah, no, he's mad that at the end of the day, Paul Rudd has not aged since the 90s.
I mean, that's
Uncanny.
pretty close to true. He's aged about 4 years over the last 20.
Yeah.
Which is impressive. Like, maybe he's actually working with the time machine. I don't fucking know.
Oh, he got money for surgery.
I mean, quality Botox costs a pretty penny. What's that comment say? Are you going to read it out loud?
Yes, I am. Hammer says at General Zod's Fandom Zone, shall we discuss the very best classic film noir? What is your favorite film noir for Zod and chat? So,
I don't watch anything in black and white.
I mean, that's cool. We ain't
Like-
gonna talk about Ant-Man no more. I wasn't done, but yeah, go ahead.
What?
We'll get back to film noir. LB, what's your thoughts?
Yeah.
No. Go ahead. Talk about
No.
film noir. No one here watches black and white film. Sorry, buddy.
Actually, I
We
do.
watch Ant-Man.
yeah, I gotta say, I haven't seen a lot of those old black and white ones. I do remember watching the old, I guess the first Scarface movie that they ever did.
My favorite black and white movie is To Kill a Mockingbird.
Hey, we
The
got
last-
13 likes.
The last black and white movie I watched, I mean, unless it doesn't
Who
count,
downvoted?
was Sin City.
Probably
that
Senate.
don't count.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah,
Red
well,
lipstick is too much. I want to hear what you had to say about Ant-Man, LB.
So do I.
No, man, I'm just saying, like, why would they bring him back for a third movie, man? It's like he got no style, he got nothing, man. He's just
Oh, the director. Okay.
yeah. I mean, the first one was funny in the theater, but it's like I watched it. I tried to watch it after when it came out on Blu-ray. I was like, nah, man. The second Ant-Man was alright, and it's just like I'll never watch it again.
I
Like
couldn't. I
Peyton-
don't know the exact number I've watched them, but I've definitely watched them more than once.
Peyton Reed got no style, man. None. He just stands there and say action. That's it. Whatever y'all do, y'all do. He ain't got nothing, man.
Ah, okay. I get what you're saying. So what else has he done?
I know he did Bring It On. That's all that I know he's done.
Oh, okay.
He did bring it on. He did bring it on. He did Yes Men. I'm trying to remember what else was mentioned.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Which one was that? Who was in that one?
Jim Carrey.
Like I gave him a pass with Ant-Man because he came on extra late when they fired Edgar Wright. But man, with the second one, bro, it's like, bro, where's your directing style? What, like, you got nothing, man. Man, yeah, bro. Like, why is this an
No, his
exclusive, bro? Like, nobody out here talk about, man, we need Peyton Reed back for Ant-Man 3.
So your thing is you don't think he brings anything?
Bro, he don't bring nothing. He all he is Paul Rudd's yes man.
Okay. That would make sense.
He got nothing, bro. Like,
I
he
mean, from
definitely-
watching it, it does seem like Ant-Man, the character, has a lot of Paul Rudd's personality put into it.
Bruh got Peyton Reed is only better than one director, and that's the director duo that did Captain Marvel. 'Cause they directed that movie terribly.
Wow. LB's got some strong feelings on it.
Like, if you told me that Peyton Reed never showed up on set for the movie of Ant-Man, bro, I'd believe you. like if it turned out that, you know, his assistant director directed the entire movie, I'd believe it. I would.
He'd be like, yeah, I called in at the start of the day. They told me what scenes were going on. I was like, yeah, I don't need to show up for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to get jobs to the unfortunate. It gave another guy a job. He was there to say action.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of unfortunate, our last topic is Star Wars.
I think that was a terrible segue because unless I've read it completely backwards, this is fortunate. This is not unfortunate. Like, we're finally talking about Perp's lady. I'm just looking forward to you saying her name with that hard A in Ridley.
First, before we go to that, I want to
address the chat a little bit. Sure.
Oh, my God. All right, so Hammer said an interesting comment I wanted to bring up in response to our Noral comment. He said, "Listen here, people. Blade Runner is now. The opening of Blade Runner is Los Angeles, November 2019. Film noir is at its peak."
Blade Runner's in black and white.
Oh, hold on. Was he talking about film noir like the genre, or did he say black and white films? Because I didn't hear him at the time.
He said noir, but I thought that meant black and white.
Not necessarily.
Oh, well, shit.
Oh, that changes the dynamic. So, anything to elaborate on that?
No.
I felt like maybe we were going into a conversation, and then no, we just okay.
No, I thought you were going to address more than one comment, but that was just me.
I mean, yeah. There was one about me. There was normal chat.
Sean must be drunk, or he wants some attention because he's talking absolute foolishness in this chat. Sean,
What's up, Sean?
You want some attention? Hi, Sean.
How's it going, Sean? What's up?
Yeah, you know that Zod can't afford Botox.
Yeah. Sea-level villa budget does not cover that.
Like, why is he thinking about Botox and Zod? Like, why is that on your mind, Sean?
I missed that.
It's back a little ways.
Sean, are you drunk? Are you drunk tonight? It is Friday night.
I mean, it's Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It was Friday night. Shit.
Like what
I looked at the clock and it said Saturday. I was like, no, that means it's Friday night. And the feeling is right. So let's talk about John Boyega actually saying something incorrect.
Hammer, I've never seen either Blade Runner. I'm just not interested. Sorry, bro.
Me either.
Hammer, I have seen both of those masterpieces, and I respect them thoroughly.
You would.
Harrison Ford's magnum opus of acting. I don't know what you're going to say, Indiana Jones and all that, but no, he did a stellar job in Blade Runner. It's an amazing film.
I like the director's cut of the original.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And come on, Rutger Hauer as the bad guy, man. Everything that man said was poetic and just
all right.
Great movie.
Bump that movie.
Hey, LB, what's your most top favorite movie?
I don't know. That's a loaded question. And it's 4:30 in the morning. I'll think about that.
We'll get back to you tomorrow.
1:38 a.m. here.
I'm not watching Blade Runner, Hammer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's on the Eastern Pacific time.
Well, I used to be in Gary Central Time. Only a small corner of the states in Central Time.
So we're gonna do PB's one, and then we're gonna do a follow-up article provided by Bear Nerd Fun. Yes, I forgot the third.
Skipped a bear, but whatever.
Hey, Maz, what you got to talk about? I'm gonna nix this article. I'm gonna say, basically, this guy's another shill at Disney, talking a bunch of scrap, and I got to looking further down, and no, man, we're not gonna give this guy no airtime.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, hold on. When did Rey become a Jedi?
Allegedly, in The Last Jedi, she became a Jedi.
Look at her chopping that rock.
The last one. She lifted those rocks.
And how man, bro, I don't even want to talk about this article. Like, how are fans divided?
Fans have been divided since, since the first movie came out. It was even worse since Last Jedi.
Bro, y'all read this article, man. I'm gonna go wax my floor or something.
Oh man, that is a euphemism if I've ever heard one in my life. Oh my god.
Star Wars actor John Boyega has caused quite a stir on social media with a bold claim, namely that Anakin Skywalker was a better Jedi than Rey. Prepare the popcorn. The Finn actor responded, "Oh my God."
Okay.
Responded to an article arguing that a new Rise of Skywalker prequel proves Rey is, at least at this point in her training, more powerful than Anakin and Luke were at the same point, and is on her way to becoming the most powerful Jedi ever. Writing in response, John tweeted, "I'm sorry guys, but Anakin slapping all of us in a pit of lava, including Kylo." He later replied to a fan who noted Anakin couldn't defeat Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi is the OG, but come on now. You know Anakin is taking out guys. While a rift of supporters of Stankins? What the fuck is that? Stanakins?
Where now?
Stanakins?
Sure.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Stanakins.
Have come out to support the claim. There have been many detractors as well. "We love a man with taste," one fan said, as another agreed, "You're amazing, and this is true. You really wanted to start WW3, didn't you?" A separate follower wrote, while another added, in no uncertain terms, "Rey is stronger than Anakin. Delete." One,
Delete. Hilarious.
one also astutely noted Anakin couldn't beat the only guy in one pit of lava. Meanwhile, while we try to avoid a galactic civil war, a new canon comic series has filled us in on what Rey, Finn, Poe have all been up to since Last Jedi. So, yeah, I agree.
They've been up to things. Yeah, you can read about it in a comic book, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, come on. I'm a fan of source material, but come on. Read it in the
What do you
comic.
mean, fan of source material?
Love source material.
Yeah. It's
Matt's
your
gonna
life.
talk about source material for life.
Yep.
Man,
But
let me
it
tell
was
you
a-
something.
Go ahead.
About these prequel comics. Like, I don't care what they say, they're not canon. It's just like the Marvel prequel comics. Man,
Aha.
it's a waste of time. Nobody cares about them.
You shouldn't,
I
you shouldn't need
100% agree.
to read to it in order to understand the story. You shouldn't need to read the stuff in order to understand what's going on.
Nope. I mean, if they want to make the story for people to enjoy in their leisure time, that's great. But it should not be required reading to understand what the character has been doing in their downtime.
Like training, which should have been shown in the movie.
You'd think that they would show that in a movie, right? You'd think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they only did it in the original trilogy. They only did it in the
Give us a quick
prequel trilogy.
montage, you know? But at the end of the day, yes, Anakin is a better Jedi because Anakin actually went through the training.
And then he
Rey's
killed a Sith
Jedi
Lord.
because
That's the end of that sentence, LB.
yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the end of the sentence. And it's sad.
Yeah.
Even if they have a training montage in the beginning of this movie, you put a training montage in the beginning of the third film. That seems
Right.
backwards to me.
It seems very backwards. Like, I don't know the minute mark that it goes to, but Luke starts training as a Jedi in the first movie. Under a Jedi, not under some fucking smuggler.
Yeah, no, I want to see Rey getting the similar training that Luke did. I want Luke sitting on her back while she's running through a forest.
Or
Yes.
riding on her back.
I want that old white man riding that young lady all over her backside.
That just kind of got away from me.
Until she's just got the force coming out of her.
Rey was the strongest Jedi the day she was born.
Pretty much.
Like, fuck. Like,
That's why they left her with Simon Pegg.
like, I don't understand. I don't understand a lot of things.
We know.
You know,
And I like how you say if they have a training montage at the beginning of the movie. Don't you mean to say when? Like, we all know that it's coming. It's in the fucking trailer. Like, we see her running in the fucking forest. That's totally the training montage. You see the thing floating above her head. That's what Luke's training with in the first movie. It's not even halfway through and he's already started training as a Jedi. Whereas, you know how she trained as a Jedi? She got mind raped by Kylo. That's how she trained as a Jedi.
I'm sorry, it's Tommy's comment that's got me dying. Like,
oh yeah. Wait, Rey is female? All this time, I thought it was a young boy. Super chat from Mega Jetty says Anakin may be the most powerful Force user, but Luke became Grandmaster after Yoda. Yes, but the point is the comparison.
The Jedi Order was terrified of what Anakin could have become.
Yep.
Darth Sidious was grooming him. But Rey is a more powerful Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. You know, the comparison between Rey and Anakin, like even Anakin as a young Jedi, I mean, Anakin was doing training, fucking pod racing before he even was accepted into the order.
When Rey kills some younglings, then I'll believe it.
Ooh,
yeah,
that would be nice.
You know what, Trey? I kind of agree with you, though. Now, all they have to do is fix Rey to turn her to the dark side in The Last Jedi. She's been avoiding the dark side since the first movie. I mean, look how often Finn's chasing after them. She's still not giving him the brother any time.
If Rey kills that kid from the end of the Last Jedi, I'll give her some props.
Ooh, if she goes back and just chops off Broom Boy's head, she's like, no more sweeping for you, motherfucker.
The random kid.
She hurts Finn. I will step right into that movie and slap the bitch.
Man, screw. I hope she killed Finn too.
Dude, that would. I mean,
Finn lame,
yes.
Bruh.
If she goes Khaleesi on their asses and burns the motherfucker down, that would be epic.
Yeah.
It'd be a better turn than Game of Thrones.
Finn ain't nobody.
He's
only a janitor.
He didn't even make it to head janitor.
Right.
He was just a janitor. Maybe he was B janitor, C janitor. We don't even know which janitor.
That still makes me so mad. Just like, I don't know how to do nothing. I'm just a janitor, bruh.
What Department of Sanitation.
No, they
which is really disturbing that they put him in white stormtrooper suit, but you're supposed to go deal with the sewage. Like, no.
Like, bruh. you was the one cleaning the stormtrooper suits. That was your job, bruh. That was your job, bruh.
They didn't even give him a laser. They gave him a
Oh my
whistle.
God. Put up. You got another super chat that'll make you laugh.
Rey is like Ahsoka. She's no Jedi. Unlike Rey, though, people want to bang Ahsoka. No! No! No, Mega! No!
Bruh. For one, Ashoka is a Jedi.
Yeah,
She got expelled, but she's still technically a Jedi. And for two, Ahsoka's a minor, bruh.
I mean, she's not a minor if she's gonna be in the movie. She's not a minor once she's played by Brie Larson.
That's different, bruh. It's like,
Oh, you like, yeah, in the cartoon, the entire way she's a fucking minor.
Well, wasn't Ahsoka an adult in Rebels when she appeared there?
but that's different. Like, you grew up watching her as a little kid. Like, you were like, oh yeah, I'll hit that now.
Yeah, this is not an Ayla Sakura situation.
This is like watching Game of Thrones and watching what's her
I'm
name?
not watching that scene ever again.
I done forgot her
Maisie
name.
Williams.
No, in the show, I forgot her name.
Arya
She was like,
Stark.
Arya. Yeah, that's like watching Arya stroking on season 8, and you're like, yeah, I've been waiting for this moment 8 years.
Hey.
Like, bro, there's something wrong with you, Mega Jetty.
Oh yeah, been waiting for this Arya Stark moment for 8 years. She was 13. Okay, I retract my previous statement. I've been waiting for it for 1.5 years.
He's like,
It happened, and I was like, "You're gonna cut away, right? You're gonna cut away, right?" Nope. You had to show me some alleged tasteful side boob. No, it wasn't.
that was like
Trey's saying they could have given her a dark move like lightsaber and everything. Yeah, because once you go dark, you ain't going back.
that's not true.
Oh, he's got another.
I know a white girl that completely gave up on black men and married a country white guy. She was like, nope, no more Negroes. That's the cleanest way I could say that. I was like,
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh God.
She said that mess on Facebook.
bad.
I was like, what? She said that on Facebook. I'm
Oh
like,
my
what?
God. She put it on Facebook.
Oh, the poor girl.
She's like, no more brothers for me.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I will try and say it a slightly nicer way because I definitely can't say that.
She married a white man from the country that wears the deer hunting gear.
Oh, he wears camo constantly.
Like, she went from thugs to all the way to the other side, bruh. Yeah, camo.
How do you go from Thug to Duck Dynasty?
Exactly.
That's a jump.
Yeah.
Did you see that super chat from Mega Jetty for 351?
Mega Jetty talking foolishness, man.
I know it's funny.
Mega Jetty's 30 and he's looking at Ahsoka. Man,
I thought he was older than 30.
man.
He's
Mega
30
Jetty.
something.
That don't make it better, bro.
Yeah, that wasn't the one from Mega Jetty. That's from Hammer.
Yeah, I was.
You can
the
read
one
it
he's,
off.
No, the one he's talking about is the only thing Finn does well is have panic attacks and run into danger, screaming,
Bruh.
"Ray!"
Oh, that remind me. I got yeah.
He does.
Don't
He
get
does.
me started on Finn, bro. Man.
Okay, y'all know why I like Finn.
Yes, we know why you like Finn, but J.J. Abrams and John Boyega literally can only film one thing. It's like, hey, I need you to run over here and then yell. Run over here and then yell.
Yes, Mouser. I can do that. I can run the Yale Mouser. I can scream for Ray Mouser.
Thank you. Action. Ray!
Good job, boy. Good job, boy. I mean, Boyega.
Yeah, Hammer, I figured that when I saw you guys talking about drive-in theaters.
Get Finn up out of here, man. I hope he die.
Oh, do you? Okay, now you got me wondering this. Do we think they're gonna kill any of the characters they created?
No.
No.
Lando show finna die.
Oh, Lando,
Man, they
he
better
dead.
No, I knew. And this is another fear I have because I love Lando. Fuck Solo, that never happened.
You ain't gotta like Lando because he black, bro. You ain't gonna offend me.
No, I love Lando was better. I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna catch hate for this, but Lando was way better than Han Solo. Sorry, I said it. Han didn't
Especially in episode 4.
Hey, he had to do what he had to do. If
Oh
your
my
face
fucking
looked
god,
dark-
he totally missed that joke.
Yeah.
Did you not hear what I said?
I was going in rant mode.
I know. I said that Lando was way better than Han Solo in episode 4.
Oh.
You putz. It's a joke because he's not in the movie.
Life.
I wouldn't say that. I like Lando better than Han, but I don't necessarily like Han better than Lando because I was always a Luke Skywalker person, so I don't necessarily pick the smuggler side.
Hey, Mega Jetty, there's nothing good about Finn. Nothing.
Like
Nothing.
if we're picking favorite smugglers, my favorite smuggler is fucking Hondo.
Oh.
Like, bro, just think about it. Like, Finn got a code name for his real name. He's a janitor. You're basically a slave, bro.
Yep. You got a trash compactor.
I love it. Lando is a pimp with skills, but he's not better than Han Solo.
Dude, Han ended up in Carbonite because of Lando. Just saying. And Cloud City was safe. Them people need to be thanking the fact that they had such a intuitive and smart leader that put the people before even his friends. He was like, fuck that shit. I'm a leader. I got to think about my people.
Okay, Hammer's turning into perp on us.
Finn is trash.
Exactly, Trey Courtney. Finn is literally around to prop up Rey. That's his only reason.
Yeah.
Prop up the
Yeah,
white girl.
don't hold my hand.
Don't hold my hand. Well,
Like, why not? I watched GoldenEye. He grabs that lady's hand and they run down the beach. I didn't see her pulling her hand away.
Ray ain't got no taste.
Like, she probably know he was a janitor. She's like,
Oh
nah,
my
bro,
God, Hammer, you can't say that. He won a lady? What?
What?
That's like as bad as acquiring somebody.
Yeah, who would say that?
The Senate, you're so correct, bro. Like, Finn is trash, bro. I'm gonna have to make a video about that, about how trash he is.
Put it on the screen, and LB can read the comment out loud.
No, that's got too much profanity.
Yeah.
Okay, then put it on the screen, and I will read it out loud. Finn is a bitch ass little fuck boy who says, "Where the white women at?" in every film, and he still gets none. He's useless.
Absolutely useless.
No, he did get raped by Rose Tico.
Yeah, another lady that he's there to prop up.
Exactly.
Like, he's literally there as a prop.
Bruh, Finn is what we call the help.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
Oh.
He's using these southern terms now. Uh-oh.
But is it big help?
Uh, oh, shit's going off the road. Oh my god. But yeah, this has been illuminating. That's all I got. I've said enough shit to get me banned for one night. I'm at my quota. Come at me, YouTube. Fuck it.
I didn't know that you had a quota.
Apparently, I've got a high standard of how much offensive shit I can say in one stream. You know what? I get monetized. All of the late nights, except for maybe 2, will be able to be put on.
Everything will be unlisted and in a playlist
Called the unlisted real shit.
My God, Mega Jetty, you need to go back to the beginning of the stream if you want to hear about dark hate. They already talked about it.
I mean, it's literally in the description of the live stream.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like we talked about it I think we all said something about it except for Mama Bear because she got here after all of us.
Oh yeah, about dark garbage.
Yes. I don't think she's going to see it.
No.
The Terminator?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh.
In the theater?
No. I'll watch it the same way. I'll watch it the same way I did Captain Marvel.
Alt view.
Exactly.
We're not alt right. We're alt view.
Some people will call us that though.
Hey man, my movie money gets very specific. So.
Anyway.
Yeah, just like Zod, he doesn't pay for shit, even when you're supposed to, endorse it.
Oh God. It's gonna be played.
Mega Jetty, like, so anyone seen Dark Hate? Oh, let me promote my videos on my channel. This guy here. Bro, man, you know what he did on my last live stream? I think it was my last one or the one before. He did a super chat. It comes promoting his channel. I'm like, bro, what is this? Like, I really thought he was trolling me, bro. He kept doing super chats and promoting his stuff. I'm just like, bro.
Did you read all of them, LB?
I read them.
Okay.
I ain't gonna disrespect him. He donated money, but it's like, bro, you really trolling me right now.
Oh, Thomas, you got here just in time for the end of the stream, unfortunately. But we're glad that you could make it. Please hit the thumbs up because you're not going to have watched. Yep. Hit rewind. I appreciate it.
I gotta read that one super chat from Mega Jetty. I was trolling you, LB.
Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Oh my. Yes, thank you, Hammer. Lando Calrissian did destroy Death Star too. He was key, instrumental in that victory.
Well, if he was so good, how come they've made like 5 other Death Stars after? Like,
I just go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, if he was so big and bad and he destroyed the Death Star number 2, you think like, okay, we don't need to do no more Death Stars because Lando is out there.
The Death Star Destroyer, Lando Calrissian, in a galaxy far, far away, where there's only ever allowed to be 2 black people.
But don't you worry, The Rise of Skywalker will have 3 black people.
Dun dun dun.
And
They're
they're
not gonna make me see it
all
in theaters.
going to be related.
Oh my god.
But Lando legit is going to be Finn's grandfather. Watch.
Oh,
Oh, for sure.
no.
Lando is probably the grandfather of half the galaxy.
Why? Because he's black?
It's not just because he's black, but the man's a worse flirt than Abu Nas. Come on.
Nah, Mega Jetty, get out of there with the wedge until like that. Okay, I
See,
know
Mega-
about
Mega-
wedge. I
Nah, bruh.
respect wedge.
You ain't got to explain this, bro. Like, why you can't give the black man some props, Mega Jetty?
Can't do it. Always
Like-
holding the black man down.
Like, golly. He was the only black man in the galaxy. You can't even give him any props. Like, golly, bruh. Wow.
I did a
True
whole spiel
True
for
that,
him and
sir.
everything, and instant disrespect in the chat.
Instant.
Like, you didn't destroy it on your own. Where have I heard that before?
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
All right, we're
There's
gonna
a-
start.
Hold on. Zod, read the super chat from Hammer.
Yeah, you gotta read that. That's a funny one.
PB, read that super chat. You got better.
Oh, can we get some love for Nine Nub?
Nah, bruh. Not
I thought his name was Nub Nub.
that man is ugly. Whatever he is.
Mega J says, I'm not tearing down Lando. I'm just setting the record straight. They deserve equal credit. Lando did the hard work. You
See?
went in there.
Hey,
Owen was coming
hey.
back.
That's what the white man did when all the slaves built on Washington D.C.
Yep, they got done. They were like, look at what we have accomplished. We are going to call it the White House.
You
PB,
gotta read this super chat.
Hey, they said to the slaves,
PB,
hey,
you have to read the super chat from Senate.
they said to the slaves, hey, put that black paint away. We're gonna keep this thing white.
Super chat from the Senate. Fuck you. Han Solo's better. Also, fuck kneeling, you stupid ass biatch.
I think that was directed towards me.
Indeed.
All right, let's go down the line here. We're gonna start wrapping this shit up. 4:07, and I gotta go kick kids in the head. So let's start with the loneliest man on the panel. So glad to have you back for this wild and crazy stream to help us talk some sense about this dark garbage. LB, go ahead, tell them about your channel, all your exciting content, new videos, your awesome streams, and all that.
Well, being that I haven't released a video in about 10 days, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm building hype, man.
There's nothing to hype up. Go ahead.
Here, how
DB.
about this for a lead in? LB, tell the wonderful people watching when your next Lonely with Friends is.
Tuesday? It'll be a
Wonderful.
special edition.
Ooh.
Wow. Cliffhanger. Like it. Matt's Mama Bear, our Canadian bear. Where can they find you? And tell us about that new Cooking with Mama Bear and Squirrels coming out.
Oh my God.
Seriously, enough with the squirrels.
I'm
cooking
sorry,
with
I guess
squirrels.
I'm just
They're too
picturing
fast. I
bears
can't
and
catch them.
squirrels.
I can't catch the squirrels. They're too fast, man. Hey, Mads Mama Bear here. You can find me at Mads Mama Bear both on Twitter and on YouTube. And yeah, see, Tommy did post the link. Yeah, I do a bunch of stuff. I talk about Supernatural. I talk about random stuff, DC, whatever. But also just put out a couple days ago the first of the cooking Mama Bear's Kitchen. No squirrels.
Damn it.
With my take on the Attack on Titan meal. Go check it out. Give it a like. Give it a share. There's probably going to be more coming down. I'm just not sure, what the next topic's going to be for the kitchen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So go check that out and get some great cooking stuff. Get hungry. Maybe go buy food. Now I'm gonna go buy a sandwich after this. Bear, nerd fun. Tell them about your channel and the great fourth wave content and whatnot that you got going on over there.
Well, really can't wait till I get my main machine back. I'll be able to start putting some more videos up. And on the fourth wave, we're going to this Friday. Normally it's at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I believe that's 7 Eastern.
Yes.
And so we'll be revealing the leak that I received. A really juicy PDF file that is 18 pages long.
That's
And we've only got through 2.5 pages, so basically it's everything that Lucasfilm has done and changed their mind about. And so this is someone that sent this to me through Facebook DM, and he was wearing Joker paint. Very interesting. And
sounds like Zod sources.
In the text, he was going, ha ha ha! I got the leaks. Ha ha! You want the leaks? And then he sent me the PDF file, and it's pretty juicy. It's pretty.
You didn't say ha ha ha. What the fuck are you waiting for?
Is it juicy like the guy from Jurassic Park?
Oh God.
Probably juicy with information that has nothing to do with juice. So yeah, we're going to be revealing more of that soon, very soon. And I got 2 new videos up that I made with my phone. One's called Dark Fake Director I Reject. And in that one, I'm in cartoon form.
Ooh.
And then there's the one before that, the Terminator is a dark fate, never come back no more. I'm also in cartoon form.
Oh,
So check it out.
that is exciting. Exciting stuff. And of course, the co-host, the commander, the curator, and the guy who looks scary as shit as a pumpkin with a beard. Pop Culture
I
PB.
know.
Tell them about the channel.
I had to get a little festive before the week was out, being that it was, one of the funnest holidays, if, not the fattiest, because I love candy. It's delicious. But yeah, I'm PB. You can find me at Pop Culture PB on YouTube and Twitter. I do, a bunch of videos, typically talking about Star Wars, Marvel, even though the last video I did, I was talking about how Troy Aikman is better than Chris Collinsworth. So if you want to enjoy a laugh or two, you can pop over to my channel and click on a video or two. I bet you laugh your ass off.
All right.
Boo.
And of course, you've been in the Phantom Zone. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We've had some pretty good views. We had 16 people watching last night as well. So I'm glad to see everybody coming back over to the Phantom Zone to hear more of this wacky shit we got going on over here. If you didn't check it out, you can see my late night shenanigans where I went dressed as the Joker and all the crazy responses. And Bitchy leaked a karaoke video of me.
Hold up,
Oh
that was
my-
the Joker? I thought that was Bozo the Clown.
Either way, I don't like clowns. They taste funny.
LB, why so serious?
Wah, 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 wah.
That's terrible, Zod.
Seriously.
Oh, some hit, some miss. But yeah, you could check out my Twitter and see all the wacky pictures. And Fitchy posted a bunch of stuff. Go follow her Twitter, and you can see different random, embarrassing pictures she feels like taking and posting of me constantly. So if you want to see some odd shit, like, you know, she just
No.
takes a picture of me brushing my teeth and fucking posts it. Don't know why. I don't think that's fascinating. So what? A villain's got good dental care. You know? Anyways, also I'll be doing some interviews. I'm gonna have Geeky Candy on in Fandom Talks, so definitely check that out. And I'm gonna be posting a video up on Dark Trash and what I think of it in a very spoiler-filled way. I might even live stream that. So come and check that out. Probably do it on Saturday or Sunday. Anyways, as always, remember the only rule here in the Fandom Zone.
Ugh.
Kneel before Zod.
No, bruh.
Pumpkins don't